The British Racing and Sports Car Club, as you'll be aware, has a very, very rich heritage, but also wants to look forward. And we've had some very exciting developments being announced over the last few weeks. In charge of Formula E development at BRSCC is Greg Graham. Greg, this is beyond any expectation that we had about new Formula E coming in. Tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, it's a project that we've been working on with partners, with Steve Wills and Dr. Nick Mason, to introduce, I think, globally the world's first club-level electric vehicle single-seater race car. There is a big surge in electric-powered race cars of various different formula, but single-seater at club level is new, and we think that by introducing first time in public today, we hope that there's a marketplace there. We hope there's a young marketplace there that want to drive this type of vehicle, and through the feedback we're getting so far, it seems so. There's electric karting, which is popular. There's Formula E as an aspiration, which is popular. There's TCR-E, which is coming, GTE, which is coming, but there's nothing at this level that allows a race team or a young individual or an individual racer to get into club level electric vehicle racing. There just isn't anything there. When we went to market 2 weeks ago, the emails and the calls that we're getting are all from people that aspire to race electric vehicles. They don't aspire to race Formula 1, they actually aspire to race Formula E, and that's been really interesting, that it's a marketplace that exists, but yet nobody's tapped into it yet, and the expectation, the hope is that we have.
When you're looking for new ideas, obviously as developing Formula E ideas for the British Racing and Sports Car Club, how did you go about getting to this stage? Did you sort of have a look and sort of do a matrix and work out where there were gaps?
We do that as a matter of course, and you've referred to some of the new formula that we've had coming. This happened by accident, as projects often do, where we spoke to Steve, who designed the chassis, designed the car. It was a petrol car at that point. Difficult to market a petrol single-seater in this day and age. However, somebody mentioned the electric word. It created a buzz amongst the partners that we've got involved. So from then on, we got serious about looking at the marketplace, looking at the product, and just trying to find if there was a dovetail between what we expected, what we hoped was out there, and what we could deliver to them. And this is the result.
And this is so new that the motor racing authorities are having to work with you to develop and work with the ideas that you're coming up with. That's right, isn't it?
It is, and we've had a lot of support from Motorsport UK, a lot of questions from Motorsport UK / FIA as far as a halo on a steel chassis. It's never been done before, but any new single-seater program without a halo is at it's at a disadvantage straight away. I think it's a necessary safety aspect of the car. So we're in dialogue with Motorsport UK. They've offered to help and assist us push the car, the structure, the chassis, the halo through to the next stages. The chassis has been designed beyond the expected crash structures, front, rear, side impact. But yeah, the next stage is to have it officially signed off by FIA, which will happen next year at some point.
It's wonderful to see the car here. We get a lot of talk about concepts and ideas, but it's here in the flesh, and Formula Foundation E is for real.
Formula Foundation E is here. Yeah, it is a concept car. It's a prototype car, but it's ready to race. It needs a few sessions on the dyno just to work out what it does, what the limitations are. Today it's running at 70% because that's enough for a test day, demo day. But the expectation is it's a quick machine. It's a really quick machine, and it'll be enjoyable to drive. The test driver, Jake, who drove it last week for the first time, within 10 minutes of driving it, had forgotten it was an electric drivetrain. He was talking about turn-in and brake bias and balance of the car, which is fantastic, because he's already forgotten and accepted that it's an electric drivetrain, and that's a fantastic aspect. The maintenance on the car is minimal. For the next 2 years, the drivetrain, the battery pack is warranted fully by Nick, who's manufactured it. So you're not having engine rebuilds, you're not having gearbox rebuilds. Drive the car, take it home, recharge it, bring it back, drive it again.
Are the partners involved in the project, Greg?
Partners are Eco Classics, Steve Wills and Richard from RSR Technology. Hankook Tyre have kindly got involved at an early stage. Rob Smith from Green Recycling has looked at the project, got excited about it. He races already within the club, just like the concept, and the feedback from the marketplace has been absolutely fantastic. It's blown us away. We need to turn that into selling cars, getting cars on grid, and that's where race teams should come and speak to us and ask to become involved, because it's a new marketplace, it's a dynamic, growing marketplace for electric vehicle racing. And these kids that are getting in touch with us, not just kids, are saying that the ability to race electric is based on the fact that they're introducing different sponsors to motorsport. Software companies, gaming companies are interested in EV racing. Just a non-traditional sponsorship base which can bring new drivers into the sport, or enable new drivers to come into the sport.
With Dr. Nick Mason, tell us about your role with the new project.
So, been involved with it for about 4 or 5 months, and RSR Technology came along and approached us to electrify a car that was already petrol, and it's the nature of the business what we do already, right? We electrify classic cars. So we just applied our normal system into the car, looking at how do we adapt it into a race car, and sort of try and take out some of the restrictions that you'd normally have in a road car and make it much more focused around the racetrack.
What sort of restrictions are there on road cars to race that you've had to deal with?
So, I mean, main ones obviously around the availability of power and torque, tuning the throttle pedals, etc. for the speed of reaction of the powertrain, right? So on the road you don't want it to react that quickly, right? And here we're trying to make it react as quickly as possible. So those sort of things, we have temperature limitations and those sort of things. We can push the envelope a little bit more on this car.
The one question I suppose you probably get fed up with being asked is how long will the charge go for, how long are the races going to be, and how quickly is it to actually charge the things up?
Yeah, so that's the big issue, right? It's got a relatively small battery for the car. It's a 20 kilowatt hour pack in there. That will last, we're expecting at least 20-minute race, 7 kilowatt charger, so it will take around about 2 to 3 hours to charge fully, and then you'll be out again and do another between 20 and 30 minutes.
How quickly is the technology moving on? I mean, if we were to cast our minds back, say, 2 years, where would we have been against what we've got now?
So the biggest thing is batteries. They've moved on significantly in terms of both the amount of power that they can give out. So we can actually, from a relatively small pack, we can actually generate quite a bit of power, because it's 120 kilowatts, 160 horsepower, and we can feed that with a relatively small battery. So that's one thing. The other one is capacity of the battery. So a few years ago, you'd have probably been at about 15, 16 kilowatt hours. So the power density has improved so much that we can get 20, and in the next sort of 2 or 3 years we'll probably get that up to nearer 25.
And are you getting sort of approached by other formulas and maybe thinking about what's the next step on from here? Because obviously within racing we have a ladder, and we've got that gap, as Greg mentioned, between Formula Foundation E and Formula E. Is there a possibility to move up a step later on?
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, the technologies, you can go and put it into pretty much anything. It's electric car technology. It's just sort of getting the right motor, the right battery combination for the application, and that's kind of what we do day in, day out on classics, right? So just apply it to a different formula.
It's great to hear, Nick. Thanks for your time.
No problem. Thank you.
I'm with Steve Wells, the creator of this wonderful piece of kit we're looking at. I can't wait to see a grid of these cars. Congratulations on putting the car together. Tell us a little bit about the story and the history of this chassis.
So yeah, we decided to build a user-friendly car, really. Some time back, a couple of 3 years ago, had a petrol version originally, which we still have, and although we wanted to get that going, Greg at the BRSCC persuaded us to go electric. So with a big help from Nick at Eco Classics, this is where we are today. So we're trying to bring an affordable car, which is user-friendly and modern, and hopefully brings the not junior racing, but sort of entry-level single-seaters to the fore again, because it really needs something else other than really expensive formulas. So we're not trying to compete with anybody else. It's purely our idea, our concept, and it's where we are today. Yeah.
What are the specific design challenges of electric drivetrain as opposed to a normally aspirated or a petrol-driven engine in terms of single-seater design?
Battery packaging is the big thing, and the weight distribution. So luckily the chassis accepted the battery box and the battery assembly the right way round, which is a big thing, and allowed for the batteries to be the laid in the box correctly. So the big thing is a battery box and layout. The motor's not such a big deal really, and so that was luckily the chassis was designed around it really, basically, by and large, although it was for a petrol engine originally, but the width was already there for us, so we was fortunate to have the concept sort of in hand really. Yeah.
Is it something you'd thought about before, and were some of the challenges that you encountered things that had sort of gone through your mind before?
We never expected an electric vehicle this quickly. I mean, there's no denying that. We thought maybe one day, but when Greg pushed us towards it and put his argument towards it, and we looked at it commercially and physically, financially, everything else, really we knew we had to do it. So we thought we would do it, but not at this early stage. So it's a sort of 5 years sooner than we thought really, but that's the way the world has gone, and we've seen it change in the last 12 months. So what do? We have to do what we're told really and move with the times. Yeah.
That's great, and many congratulations again on producing this wonderful looking car, and we look forward to seeing it on track. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I can't wait to see our Formula Foundation e-car on track. Are we going to run the demo? I think we're getting ready with 1:10. I think we are ready to go. So getting thumbs up from Greg and Dr. Nick Mason. So the car getting ready to go. The drivetrain nice and quiet, but wait till you hear it going around the track. So it's making its way down pit lane now. From me, I'll be interviewing some build-up for you for the festival. But to talk a little bit more about the car as it makes its way for its maiden laps around the Indy circuit here at Brands Hatch, let's hand over for the first time this weekend a warm welcome to the BRSCC's very own Scott Woodward. Hi, Scott.
Hello Richard, thank you very much indeed, and welcome everybody, as Richard has said, to the 51st running of the Formula Ford Festival here at Brands Hatch. Of course, racing will come up very shortly, but as we've been talking about, something very different but very special here. It's a landmark moment here for the club, as this is the first public demonstration run of the brand new Formula Foundation FFE1 fully electric single-seater race car. This is a collaboration between the British Racing and Sports Car Club and the Stetson-based company RSR Technology Limited. It really is a groundbreaking fully electric single-seater racing project. It's been well over a year in development, and this stunning electric race car has been conceptualized, designed, engineered and built fully in the UK. Very exciting project. There was a great announcement that was made earlier on in the last couple of days that the project is also being kindly supported by the Essex-based company Green Recycling Limited. Of course, are quite eco-friendly recycling. Managing director is Rob Smith, who's a very experienced racer and of course is the defending Fiesta champion. And his son, Sid Smith, is also in contention for the Fiesta Junior Championship, and he'll be also helping with the development of this car as well. So he'll be involved in future track testing and evaluations. This project is also supported by Hankook Tyre, who very recently were named a few months ago as the exclusive tyre supplier for Formula E. So that will be exciting. So hopefully there'll be some crossover in that technology. The car is fully electric. It has 120 kilowatts has 120 kilowatt purpose-designed battery pack and drivetrain, equivalent to about 160 brake horsepower. And this car is currently set to run at about 2/3 maximum output while it's doing final testing and development over that process. At the moment, the car is also software controlled, so it can do 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds, and it has a top speed of over 130 miles per hour, so it's pretty rapid itself. And of course, this car, it means it's a new step in a new direction for the British Racing and Sports Car Club. It's first step into the next generation of racing, which is of course electric vehicles and electric racing. And this series, of course, it's been a hugely exciting project. It's aiming at delivering the world's first club-level single-seater EV racing opportunity. It's focused not only towards privateer drivers, but also race teams looking to support drivers who may be interested in developing a career in the rapidly growing world of EV racing. You think of series course like Formula E that leads the way. You've got Extreme E for the off-road drivers. There's a couple of electric touring car championships, particularly the ETCR concept as well, and things like the Jaguar I-Pace Trophy. So electrification of motorsport is making its own way and creating its own path within the world of motorsport. And look at some of the specs on it as well. The electric systems are designed for a sprint format and for multiple 15 to 20 minute sessions, so you can do so without any specialist charging facilities required. The electric systems of the drivetrain are almost maintenance free, and they also come with a full 2-year warranty against failures. And in the future, whilst this car's being developed, it will also feature a cockpit adjustable regenerative braking system as well. So it means that the driver can adjust how much regeneration it can do in terms of bringing power back in there. So it's done its first couple of demo laps there. It will come back in. Rich will be down there in pit lane to have a chat to a couple of the key people involved, and it'll go out for another couple of laps very shortly, so we'll be able to show you a little bit more how this car works. But there it is, some history made by the BRSCC, the first full electric laps of the new Formula Foundation FFE1 single-seater race car. It has been out on track, and we'll see what those involved certainly think of it. So Jake Mays, who's the man who is taking to the wheel of the car to give it its first demo laps, is certainly giving it a good run. And it's a bit of feedback there, so just a bit of conversation going on. I think it's going to go out now for a bit of feedback before it will go out for a couple more laps now to show you. So this is just showing you a couple of laps at a time. Look at some more information on this car for those who are certainly interested in it. The chassis itself is a full steel space frame chassis, and it's designed to exceed the FIA Article 277 crash testing requirements. And also, you'll see it has the halos we mentioned. It's the first steel space frame chassis to be fitted with the halo, so it certainly fits in with other series like Formula E, for example, that encompasses the halo, and of course top-level single-seater racing, FIA-level single-seater racing, including of course Formula 1, Formula 2, Formula 3, and onwards into Formula 4. Also, we should mention the steering and the brakes and the suspension on this car are designed to be quite robust and extremely cost-effective to repair or replace. So it's not going to be a car which you have to spend hundreds of thousands of pounds to have to replace parts on. The plan is to make it as cost effective as possible, that if you do need replacement parts, it will certainly be able to be relatively easy and simple and straightforward to do so, and it's not going to break the bank whilst you do it too. The highest levels of safety, it also features F1 style 8-ton rated wheel retaining tethers on all 4 hubs, which means that should, goodness forbid, any accident happen, the wheels should stay in place and it should keep it as safe as possible. This car's been designed with so many FIA mandatory safety specifications in mind to make it one of the safest race cars that can come out of it in many cases, and it will keep on developing to make it keep up with particular standards of FIA as it continues to evolve, and as electric racing around the world also continues to improve. The drivetrain position, the steering, the suspension and the brake systems layout is as per a traditional single-seater car, and it has a design battery pack by Eco Classics, one of the supporting partners on this project, and has an EV power unit positioned behind the driver and also driving the rear wheels. And this level of managed performance has been chosen to deliver a genuinely quick single-seater race car for experience for drivers, but whilst retaining maximum durability, reliability and cost-effectiveness as well. We also talk about the battery charging. The battery charges by way of a readily available 240 volt 32 amp outlets with the option of a CCS DC fast charge system. And the steel encased 18 kilowatt 350 volt DC lithium ion battery pack has been designed to meet all the ECE R100 requirements and enables multiple sprint race sessions, as we mentioned, of 20 minutes or so on a single charge. Doesn't need any specialist equipment to recharge it. So the plan for this series is to run as a series in 2023, to start building up the status, get more cars built as the process goes on. And the plan is to then move it to full championship status in 2024 as well. And the interest in the project has been quite significant, not just in the UK, but inquiries are being received from many countries. So it really is generating international interest, this new Formula Foundation E project, and hopefully it's the start of something fantastic. It's a new venture for the BRSCC, and of course it's a way for them to try out and to see what it's like, to see what electric racing is, and to blaze the trail for British motorsport going forwards. So Jake Mays has brought the Formula Foundation e-car back into pit lane. So more conversations going on, just to have a couple more cockpit adjustments of the systems. I think he's going to go out and do possibly at least another 2 or not 3 more laps. A little bit more assessment going on with some of the mechanics and engineers. Just listening in, and it seems there's all a thumbs up and seems to be okay. So it looks like he's going to go out for a 3rd run to double check. We should get another 2, if not 3 laps here, just to round off the demonstration. And as we say, it's the first public demonstration of this car running in front of crowds at a race meeting here, and what better place to do it than at the BRSCC's centrepiece event, which is the Formula Ford Festival. Plenty of single-seater teams, plenty of single-seater drivers, young drivers that are looking to move forwards in their next steps in motorsport. This is an opportunity for them to start to consider, possibly try to see what the world of electric racing might offer. This is the future step here for anyone possibly maybe moving out of Formula Ford, or if there's any international drivers that are looking to see if they can take their steps into electric racing. Their goals might be to move towards Formula E or maybe even ETCR. This is going to be a great proving ground for them to start off. So for those interested in terms of teams and drivers, orders can now be placed on this car to secure one of the first build run of 6 cars that are being built, and demo races as soon as those cars are built will be run as soon as they're all put together. As to where and when that will happen, that again will depend on when and how quickly the cars are built, and also the availability of track time at any kind of venues up and coming. But the car itself has certainly been wonderfully put together, and this project has been quite a long time in the making. And also it's quite a British success story as well, given the fact that it's been, as I say, fully conceptualised, designed, engineered and built in the UK as well. And as we make their way around on its formation lap, run lap through here, up through clearways, it looks as though, touch wood, I don't want to curse it, but this car looks to be performing as it should do. So it makes its way out of Clark Curve and onto the pit straight here at Brands Hatch. And this, at the moment, has all the hallmarkings of a successful test so far, a successful demonstration run here for those in attendance. So if you want to find out more about this car, of course, you can head to the BRSCC website, brscc.co.uk. There is a dedicated Formula page for the Formula Foundation e-car. You can also get in touch with those who are involved in the project, particularly Greg Graham, who's the head of Formula development at the BRSCC. He's been one of the key figureheads in making this happen and working alongside those who've been part of the project. And on top of that, you can also get in touch with those who've been working, because you've got Dr. Nick Mason, who's been working on this project too. And in terms of the main people to contact, so all the contact details for those that you want to get involved in this new series, you can head to that Formula Foundation e-page on the BRSCC website. You'll find all the details on how to do it. Now, it may well go for a third flying lap here, or it might well come in. No, he's going to go for another lap, so he's done two sets of two laps, an out lap and once past the pits and an in lap. And now it's going on for, I think, what might be its last run here before we get racing underway for the Formula Ford Festival. So it makes its way around onto the exit of Paddock Hill Bend, up Halewood Hill, and now into and out of Druids now and down the hill towards Graham Hill Bend. So a wonderful new project. Again, big thank you to everyone involved, to Harncook Tyres, to Lifeline, of course, as well. Lifeline Fire and Safety Systems have been involved in this, to Eco Classics have been developing the drivetrain and also the power units as well. So Harncook for getting involved as well in being the tyre supplier for the project too. It's an exciting new direction for the BRSCC, and wait with excitement to see how this will progress as the car then makes its way around. It might well do possibly one more. It's going to be one more lap, so Jake Mace feels confident that he has enough power left in the pack to do another lap here. As we say, the top speeds here are at 130 plus miles an hour, so it's not exactly sluggish. It's quite a posing little electric single-seater. Of course, been quite lightweight as well. There is a bit of weight from the battery packs, but of course it's not as heavy as a conventional engine. That makes its way back up towards Druids again. And it looks as though it's driving steady and smooth at the moment. So looking good so far. So Steve Wills of RSR Technology is also one of the main people behind this project, so certainly he's want to get in touch with should anyone wish to get involved. Of course, Steve Wills has worked hard with this. Of course, based in Snetterton, so it's had some of its development and some of its development and testing down at Snetterton in recent days. This car certainly putting on a great display here to showcase one of the many new exciting developments that are coming up with the BRSCC, and it makes its way into the pit lane, what I think should be the last time before we get racing underway. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen, our first public demonstration run history made for Formula Foundation E. Its first run here, first laps at Brands Hatch. It looks like it was a pretty trouble-free run all round. It makes it stop right at the top of the pit lane, and it looks like all has been successful. So congratulations to everyone involved at Formula Foundation E, to RSR Technology, and to all those who've been developing the car, because this, of course, is a big moment for them. And, of course, who knows, once we go forwards, we'll certainly see a few more of these cars out, and as more and more cars are built, we'll start to run into those demonstration races throughout the season, and then we'll cross into a full championship for 2024. So congratulations to everyone for making it happen. And remember, if you want to find out more about this project, there is a dedicated Facebook page. You can go to facebook.com/Formula Foundation E. You can also head to the website, which is brscc.co.uk. Head to the Formula section, scroll down and find the Formula Foundation E dedicated page. You can find out all the details about the car, the key personnel, how to get involved, and how to get yourself potentially in one of these cars, or pick one of these cars up before racing gets underway later on next year.